Hello, everyone. Today is March 1, 2018. This is the meeting of the Kubernetes Storage Special Interest Group. As a reminder, this meeting is public and recorded and published on YouTube. We're going to go through the agenda today, starting with the planning spreadsheet, get a status update on all the features that we've been working on for 1.10. And then if there's any design reviews that you think need attention, please go ahead and add it to the agenda. Same thing for any PRs that haven't gotten attention. We're past code freeze. So if it's a bug fix, it can still get in. Otherwise, it'll have to wait until next quarter. And then finally, it looks like Jan has a proposal to split out the contents of the external storage repo. So let's get started with the planning spreadsheet. First up is generic storage topology solution that works well with CSI and local storage. This was designed for this quarter. I know Michelle sent out the PRs for this.
Yeah, so the design for the beta topology is out and merged. The dynamic provisioning design is out for review. And then I think, Saad, you're going to have a CSI design as well.
Yep. So for all of these, we'll keep it marked as started for now, and then we'll update it closer to the end of the quarter.
And then the two beta tasks are done.
Cool. Both of these?
Yeah. There's just one part remaining for the local storage static provisioner to use the new beta APIs, but that can be done out of tree.
Okay, cool. For the CSI volume plugin, we were able to get in all the big changes that we needed to move the API to beta. There were a couple of changes that we weren't able to get in, but we are not blocking beta on those. For a detailed overview of what those are, please take a look at the linked status doc. For now, I'm going to go ahead and mark that as started. And then right now we're working on the external non-Kubernetes components, updating those, as well as updating documentation and end-to-end testing. So I'm going to keep this yellow until all of those are complete, and those look like they're on schedule to be completed before the release is cut. Mount propagation is complete as far as I understand. Is that correct, Jan? Looks like Jan is not on the call.
Complete this. I believe this item was to add some extra end-to-end tests, which didn't get added.
Okay.
So functionally it's there. It's just we need a couple more tests.
Okay.
And this was a help wanted from the community. We just didn't have anyone step up.
Cool. And tests can get in after code freeze, so that's good. Block volume support. Aaron, Scott, and Mitsuhiro. Any updates on any of these?
Yeah, so AWS and GCE are done.
Okay.
There hasn't been much progress on the design of the CSI plugin yet.
Okay.
So yeah, now we have to add some end-to-end tests for AWS and GCE.
Cool. So I'll leave the first item to track the test, which can get added later, and then the CSI design can remain open. That's not dependent on code freeze either. Cool, thank you.
Yep.
All right, next up is local ephemeral storage to beta. Jing, are you on the line? So I believe the status of this is that the PR has been merged. There are some test dependencies that were blocking, the PR is ready to merge. It's been approved and LGTM'd. As of yesterday, there were some broken tests that were blocking merge. I can follow up with Jing offline to see if she was able to unblock that. All right. Next up is snapshots. Sheng, do you want to talk about the status of this?
Yeah, so we have a PR submitted in the CSI spec repo. I can add a link there.
Okay. Cool. Is it already starting to get comments?
Not yet, just submitted this morning.
Okay. Cool. I will take a look at that. That should be fun. Could you mute if you're not speaking, please? All right. Flex volume resize support. Actually, we skipped over a couple. Prevent PVC deletion when pod is being used, Paval.
That merged.
Merged. Awesome. And preventing PV deletion when it is bound to PVC, also merged. I think I saw that go in. I'll go ahead and mark that green. Flex volume resize support.
Still waiting for the review. So I try to pin Chakri this week to move on the review stage.
Okay, so since we're technically past code freeze, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get this in. Oh, this is just the proposal. Okay, so it looks like the proposal needs to be merged, and then once the proposal is merged, you're going to implement the actual feature.
Right.
Okay, so I guess the proposal can be merged within the next month or so, and then we'll push the implementation of this to next quarter.
Okay.
Cool. And then I'll switch this to design for now. I think Chakri's been on vacation, so he hasn't had a chance to look at this. When he gets back, he can take a look at that. Okay, next up is exposing capacity isolation, resource management, metrics. Hemant?
So Hemant's out sick.
Okay.
These two PR, or this 24 and 25 are the same. Part of it merged and part of it didn't, but I'm not sure which part is which.
Okay.
I need to clear that up.
Okay. So we'll just leave these as is for now, and then we can follow up on it next time.
Okay.
Redesign volume reconstruction. Jing is not on the line, but I believe this PR merged as well. I'm going to go ahead and mark that as done. Improving node failure handling. Is Jesse on the line? Does anybody have an update on this PR? Okay, we'll mark it orange for now, and then we'll follow up on it later. And improving local volume attaching for iSCSI. I'm guessing Lynn is not on the line. Okay, we'll follow up with that offline. RBD and BD client support is done. Dynamic max volume count, I guess Hemant is out, so we'll follow up with him in 2 weeks. And that's design work. Cool. So I think the big things that we wanted to get out this quarter got in code freeze time, specifically moving ephemeral volume support to beta, moving volume scheduling to beta, moving mount propagation to beta, moving CSI to beta. So a lot of things that we started were moving to beta, and we got those in. A lot of the block volume support has been extended, and we're going to continue that for the next quarter. So the remainder of this month before the release is cut is going to be finishing up the design work, adding in more end-to-end tests for all these features, and adding documentation. And then closer to the end of the month, we'll do a round of planning for the next quarter and figure out what we want to do there. There's a couple comments in the chat. Looks like Ardalan's asking for, okay, he found it. There's a CSI snapshot proposal link. All right, so since there are no designs or PRs that need attention, we're going to jump to the last item. Jan is suggesting to split out the external storage repo into standalone repositories. And Jan, are you on the line by any chance now? Or Brad, do you want to speak to this?
I know there was direction from the steering committee on how SIG should handle this. I don't know if it was driven to a resolution or not, but if it has, we should create this org and bust the stuff out.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Right now, external storage is just a mess of a lot of different products. It makes it very difficult to manage. So having a separate repo for each one makes sense. And yeah, we can follow up with the steering committee on how best to do that. So I'm in support of this.
I think the question is probably what we name the org. Maybe they have some guidance there. I don't know if we can create the org or if I can create it, or if you. I'm assuming you probably should. So it's, you know, under the Google ownership.
Yeah. Let's follow up with that offline. We can start a thread with.
But I would target our goal for creating this org for by the next SIG, and then we can talk about busting stuff out.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll kick off the thread and then we can carry off offline. That's pretty much all that we have on the agenda today. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about?
Are you all set for an update at the community meeting?
Oh yeah, good point. That is immediately following this. Yeah, I should be good for that. Something else I wanted to bring up was when we should have our next face-to-face meeting for this SIG. It's been a while. I was thinking maybe April timeframe might be a good idea. It would be the beginning of the next quarter, and we could use that as an opportunity to close on some open designs if we have any. Open to discussion on that. I guess
so one thing I want to just bring up is that with regards to snapshots, we have a lot of open questions, especially with the external implementation, external control implementation. And I think those questions, they still remain relevant for the CSI implementation. And it would be good to discuss them in some forum. But this is the first time I see an update on snapshot progress since the last meeting we had about a month ago. So it would be good to keep everyone in sync and also update everyone on the progress.
Yeah, that seems reasonable, and it aligns with the timeline that we have.
Thanks.
Do we think we have enough content for a face-to-face, or is this something that we could just do in a meeting, a virtual meeting?
So I defer to Jing and Xing, but I think there are a lot of open questions in Snapshot, and we haven't really addressed them. And I learned last week that the Snapshot control implementation itself is changing. Mm-hmm. They're moving away from a model that followed cache controller to a new model. So it would be good to discuss all of them.
Yeah, so it sounds like it'll be at least a few hours worth of discussion on that. So that seems reasonable.
That plus the ownership of the projects as we break it out of external storage. I don't know that once we start breaking stuff out that we'll have the SIG own all of it. Maybe we can bust it into, different members of the SIG owning different repos. We should probably discuss all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if steering committee has direction on that either, but we can figure it out offline.
Yeah. I think something else that might be interesting is whether to and how to start moving in-tree volume plugins to CSI. That'll be a big task, and we should talk about what the timelines look like for that and whether that's something we want to do at all, that kind of thing.
Along with the ownership, we're going to basically be offering universal plugins that anybody could use. I don't know that it's necessarily beneficial to keep them in the Kubernetes org.
Yep. So it sounds like we've got enough topics to justify a face-to-face. I guess next steps would be to try to get a straw poll together for what dates work for people. But what we found is the hardest is actually finding some place to host everybody. So I guess open call to everyone in the community. If you're interested in hosting a face-to-face for the Kubernetes storage SIG, please just add your information into this agenda doc, and I can follow up with you offline.
Yeah, this is Steve. Having done the hosting or arranged for it before too, I'd like to give the group notice that for someone who is hosting, it's really tough to do it without a month's notice. I mean, the logistics of it just realistically work out that way. And it kills somebody who does it if it gets changed too. So, the last one we have shifted around in dates several times and then ultimately got canceled. And it I think, at least in my organization, that tends to burn bridges in terms of getting venues. And maybe as a group, we can aspire to better organization than that this time.
Completely agreed. Yeah, if we can fix a date and someone to host as soon as possible and give them enough lead time, that would be a good goal. If we can't find anybody to host, an alternative is the KubeCon EU. If we have enough people that are planning to go there, we could set up a face-to-face there. But what I'm afraid of there is I don't want to exclude people who might not be able to make it there. But that is a backup option. All right, cool. Feel free to add to this offline. That's pretty much all I have on the agenda today, short and sweet. Anything else anybody wants to talk about? All right, cool. We'll reconvene in 2 weeks then.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.